Hello, it's Friday the 16th of November and the Thunderball result for draw 2339 is this one, and these are the numbers that I had on my ticket. I didn't win anything, and nobody won the jackpot, so anyway, the machine used was Excalibur 5, it was Thunderball 6, and this is my analysis of the result. So, at the deepest level, when we narrow it down to the specific machine and set of balls that was used, then main number 4 stood out as being the most overdue for its frequency and also the most overdue. So let's see what that looks like on the chart. So this chart plots the numbers according to how many times they've been drawn and which draw they last occurred in. The main numbers on the left and the Thunderballs are on the right, and so these are only the draws where machine 5 and set of ball 6 has been used since the numbers went up to 39. And on the main number side, this is what the chart looks like. So you can see how main number 4 stood out from all the other numbers, making it predictable. So I will just do an analysis. So up until draw 2338, the draw before the most recent one that we're analysing now, that's what the chart looks like before, and on the analyzer it picks up that main number 4 has the largest vertical component, which means it's most overdue, and when we factor in the horizontal component as well and multiply that by the vertical component, then it's the one with the largest area, which makes it most overdue for its frequency. So it stood out on that chart, and now that those numbers have come out, let's see how that's changed the chart. So now that they've come out, it's changed to that. So you can see the numbers have basically dropped down into the middle of the chart, into that dense region at the bottom. Now let's see where all the winning numbers were on that chart. So just looking at where the winning numbers were, that's where they were. So now I will look at the analyzer again. So the analyzer picked that up for main number 4, and then if we look at a chart for main number 4 and the two machines that are in use at the moment, then main number 26 stood out as most overdue on that, and with machine 5, number 21 was most overdue for its frequency, which means these two numbers could have been predicted from that, and 26 also pointed to 21 in the same way that number 4 did, and these two numbers, 21 and 26, they also pointed to Thunderball number 12, which was most overdue with 21, most overdue with 26 and the current trend machines, most overdue with 21 and the current trend sets of balls. So that pointed to Thunderball number 12, and then that points back to main number 4 with machine 5, and then Thunderball number 12 also pointed to number 17 with the current trend sets of balls 5, 6, 7 and 8. So then looking at the chart for number 17, that points back to Thunderball number 12, and the only number that didn't really stand out enough to be picked up by the analyzer was number 16, that pointed to main number 21 and Thunderball number 12 in various different ways. So it would be interesting to look at a chart for main number 4 and machine 5. So I'll just show you what that looks like. Oops. So main number 4 and just machine 5 and all sets of balls, and that chart looks like this. So there's main number 21 standing out on that as most overdue for its frequency. Now if we look at the chart for Thunderball number 12, no hang on, for main number 26, then we should see 21 in a similar position on that chart as well. So main number 26, machine 5, and there's 21 on that in a similar position again. And I noticed that number 4's quite close to that as well. So two ways in which main number 21 stood out. So let's have a look at a chart for main number 16 and see if any of the winning numbers stood out on that. So 21 most frequent. So if we look at a chart for 21, then we should see main number 16 at the most frequent end of the chart. So there it is, and the reason why it didn't show up as most outstanding on the analyzer is because number 31 is also as frequent. However, number 16 has got the largest vertical component out of the two numbers which have the greatest horizontal component. So if I was going to pick one of the two most frequent numbers on that, I would have picked 16. So it was sort of semi-predictable from that. So that means that basically all these numbers could possibly have been predicted, but to predict them you would have had to have known which machine and set of balls it was going to be, unless you put a separate line on for each machine and set of balls. So that means you'd have to put 8 lines on. So if you did that and then on the line for machine 5 and set of balls 6 you picked these numbers, then you would have won the jackpot. Now at the moment the analyzer is only showing the coincidences, only showing the most outstanding numbers that coincided with the numbers that were actually drawn, to show where they were and to show in what ways they were most outstanding. So if I turn off the coincidence filter, then that's all the most outstanding numbers for that draw. So if you'd have looked at that and seeing all these outstanding numbers. If you'd have started on this section, and if you chose number 4 at the deepest level, see, if you'd narrowed it down to the specific machine and set of balls, and then pick the most outstanding number for that machine and set of balls, which was number 4, then that could have started you off on a little journey, and from that you could have gone to number 26, number 21, and so on, and you could have picked all the winning numbers. But it's very hard to find a path through basically a maze of numbers. So what I'm going to attempt to do now is exactly that, to predict some numbers for the next draw. So if we look at all the draws including the most recent draw, and we'll not pick a machine and set of balls for now, we'll just look at the current trend, assuming that this current trend is going to continue. The current trend is, looking at the most recent draw history, machines 5 and 6, sets of balls 5, 6, 7 and 8, that's the current trend. If it continues, then looking at the draw history including the most recent draw, forget these numbers that have just come out, and we don't need to bring up the draw details for the most recent draw. So I've cleared everything down to the most basic level. So this is what we're looking at. We've got 4 charts to look at and predict our numbers from. So the analyzer's not showing us which number is most overdue for its frequency on the chart for the current trend sets of balls. So I'll have a look at that chart and see what numbers do stand out on that. So all machines, current trend sets of balls, which are 5, 6, 7 and 8. Oops. Right. Now the reason why it takes so long for this spreadsheet to basically calculate all these cell contents is because there's actually about 10 million equations in it. Not all on this chart sheet, but there's several different sheets in the workbook basically, and on some of them there's like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of cells. So these ones here, you see 1378, and there's about 1,000 columns on it, so quite a lot. Quite a lot of equations. But anyway, we don't see any main numbers because the main numbers are right down at the bottom. And the reason why they're so far down is because on the Thunderball side, Thunderball number 10 has got a huge vertical component, which means it's extremely most overdue. So So on the analyzer, we're looking at this chart, saying that Thunderball number 10 is most overdue. Yeah, you're not kidding, it certainly is most overdue. So I think last time I picked Thunderball number 11, but I might change that. To number 10 because of how overdue it is. But I might have two lines on, one with number 10 and one with Thunderball number 11. So I might actually have two lines for that reason. But anyway, looking at the main numbers then, trying to figure out which one's most overdue for its frequency. Looks like maybe number 30 and number 5 got the same area on that, or maybe number 4, but anyway, I picked number 30 on my ticket in the last draw. So let's have a look at Thunderball number 10 and see what numbers stand out with that one. So these are the numbers that stand out. Now, looking at the draw history, if we were playing roulette, the last number was high, even, and it wasn't a prime. So if number 10 come out, it'd be another high, even, non-prime number. And if number 11 come out, it'd be a high, odd, prime. So which way it's gonna go, I don't know. Could have another streak of high, even, non-primes, or I don't know. It's totally random. So for Thunderball number 11, the numbers that stand out are these ones. I'm thinking about picking number 30 because it's the most frequent number and it stands out with Thunderball 11 and the current trend machines. And looking at number 30, I notice 19 stands out like it does with 11. 13 stands out with 11 and the current trend, and it's also most overdue for its frequency as well. So I think I might pick 13 again for that reason. Now, Thunderball number 10 is most overdue with 13 in the current trend. Oh no, wait, that's main number 10, sorry. No. Oh, Thunderball number 10 is most overdue with number 30, not 13. Right. So, but also, Thunderball number 11 is most overdue for its frequency with 13. So those two stand out with each other in that way. Now, I noticed that number 6 stands out. Most overdue for its frequency, going on the current trend. So if I pick number 6, that points to Thunderball number 10, Thunderball number 11. Same way that 13 does. So if we look at Thunderball number 10 and see if any of these numbers are the same as these. Well, 21 is most frequent with the current trend and also with Thunderball number 10. So let's have a look at number 21 then. And that points to these numbers. Now, number 10, main number 10 stands out with 13 as most overdue and also most overdue for its frequency with main number 6. So to conclude this video, I'll just pick main number 10 and I'll leave it at that. So if these numbers come out, then we'll get these coincidences. These will be the coincidences if these numbers come out. So don't look too bad. Maybe there's too many coincidences there, so we're not. There's no way to predict future random numbers, so it don't really matter what numbers you pick. So I'm gonna pick these. So that concludes this video. The next draw is tonight, so it'll be draw 2340, and hopefully these will be the winning numbers. So good luck in tonight's draw, and bye for now.